because we always taught beginner sign language.
Okay, you're on.
And you teach things and you kind of start from the beginning and then you just insert philosophy. It's hard teaching people who are established.
You're the first
And,
educated people we've actually taught.
Yeah. A lot of times when we try to teach a sign language class, we end up with a classroom full of teenagers and kids and stuff, and it turns into a big babysitting thing.
Okay, go ahead and start here, quit blabbing.
It's nice having this nice group. Okay, let's pray before we start. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for those here that have proven abilities in sign language, and Lord, we just pray that you bless them here at this church, and Father, that you would open up doors of opportunity and ministry for the gifts that they have, and Lord, help us always to realize that we never arrive. We're always striving to improve ourselves and our abilities, and there's always something that we can learn and grow and from each other. And we thank you for all that you do in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Okay, first question. True or false? Deaf people actually have their own culture. You guys just call it. Don't be shouting now. Deaf people actually have their own culture. Okay. American Sign Language is not a real language. It is a shortened form of English. In ASL, a statement can become a question by simply raising the eyebrows and tilting the head slightly.
Any questions?
What are all those sign languages?
Okay.
They're over here signing the
The
answer.
sign for love looks like you're hugging someone.
Oh, that was number 4.
Number 4, I'm sorry.
I think there's 7 of them on this page, yeah.
Okay, number 5. If you want to get a deaf person's attention, it would be appropriate to flash the lights.
I was through lots of words.
Okay, number 6. If you want to get a deaf person's attention, it would be appropriate to throw a light object at him or her.
Oh, sorry, I gave away the answer.
You didn't.
Oh,
Don't
maybe
listen
it's
to what
false.
she's, don't listen to.
Bad mother.
ASL grammar is the same as English grammar, except the ASL is visual. Okay, you call on people for the first one. I give me,
You'll have to say the sentence because they
I'll
just
say
have
the
answers.
sentence, and then you call on.
I don't know the name. Who's got a name?
Do that again.
Everybody should wear.
You just missed
He
the
probably
test.
knows all the
Huh?
answers.
You just missed the test.
Okay, you have to do test.
Well, I got a question. How about if we learn some people's sign names because they're easier than. What is your sign name? And then what's yours? What?
What's that?
Like this?
You smile.
S with
Oh,
a
a
smile.
smile,
And what's
okay.
yours? Yours is sorry.
Sorry.
No,
And
on
with
the
a
shoulder.
smile.
That's not sorry, sorry.
It's over here on the shoulder.
Is that what you did?
On the heart, more like what character is.
Oh, okay.
She's a character.
Character.
Yes.
And then yours is?
And with a,
Yeah.
is it Mike? Is Mike your name? What's your first name?
Mine?
Sandy.
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 Peggy. And
No,
No,
not Patty.
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 Patty,
I
that's
remember
right.
her.
And then Patty is on vacation.
Patty is on
Patty
vacation.
and
We got
Gary.
2 people. Patty's the other one. You're Patty.
Patty and Gary are on
I don't
vacation.
know
This is
anybody's
Patty,
names.
and we're Sandy.
We're still new
And
here.
that's Mike, and then Michael is Cox.
And Mike
is Michael.
Mike, so that's easy to
Michael.
remember. Mike.
Okay. Okay, you got your piece of paper? Are you gonna try it?
Huh?
You try to answer the questions?
They're
You
not.
can do it.
You can do
We
it.
haven't
They're
taught
not in
anything.
science.
We haven't taught anything. This is thought-provoking questions here.
Oh.
You find all your words, Charles?
I
Having to
remember
do-
I'm a seminary student. I
having
don't
to
have
do
thought
with-
power left.
Having to do with deaf people
Uh,
and language. Yes.
Well,
They
start
take it
looking.
all, they suck it all out of us, don't they, when we get
Yeah.
seminary?
Seminary's hard.
Okay, people have their own
Everybody get that
culture.
right?
Yep.
Okay. And then, let's see, it's
Sandy.
Sandy, right?
Sandy.
Sandy. American Sign Language is not a real language. It is a shortened form of English.
False.
That's false. That's false,
Alright, 2 in a row.
right? Number 3. Let's see. In ASL, I forgot.
What's her first name?
Sandy,
Yeah,
Sandy.
I have it.
2 Sandys.
Okay, 2 Sandy.
Sandy old and Sandy character.
Sandy.
Sandy smiling.
Sandy.
Sandy smile.
It used to be here when I first started learning, but
In ASL, a statement can become a question by simply raising the eyebrows and tilting the head slightly. True. True. Okay.
how come we always do question marks on?
We don't.
Because you don't know ASL.
Yeah.
Here is
That's
ASL.
why we're
Look
trying
at
to
me.
go over this stuff.
That's the
Question.
whole question.
Yeah.
You like? You like
We did-
this?
We did too. We did the
We
question.
did the same thing.
And
We
you'll
all
probably, and
learned
I'm not
that
saying
way.
that you won't see us do
I was
that,
gonna say, sometimes
But-
you can put that.
but it's most likely, though, it's usually best just to tilt the head slightly, raise your eyebrows. That's the way it's supposed to be done in ASL. You don't have to have the punctuation.
Oh,
You know,
good,
because
because I forget it all the time.
Just leave it out.
Like-
It's a lot
like
easier this way.
Therefore, you know, therefore, and all those wonderful things. You don't have to do
That we
that.
all know all those signs, you know.
I mean, we had, when I interpreted every word. I used to interpret every word. I used to pride myself on that. But we were homeschooling a deaf child, and I wanted them to do that. But now I'm trying to get away from that because the goal is to reach the deaf community and
Right.
to use ASL, so. The sign for love looks like, okay, did we already do that one?
Everybody know the sign for love?
Mike?
Yeah,
Sign
they
for
already
love,
got it,
that's
yeah.
right, it looks like you're hugging someone, I guess is what they're saying here. Okay. If you want to get a deaf person's attention, Patty, it would be appropriate to flash the lights.
She's
True.
Patty. Patty is the
No,
other
No,
one.
he's
Patty, yeah.
Patty.
You're Patty.
I studied.
The other
she
woman's
studied.
Patty. I'll never get it straight.
So, the answer was
So,
true.
yes, true,
True.
yes,
Flash
you can
lights.
flash the lights.
2
Yeah.
Sandys and 2
Not your
Pattys.
headlights, your room
Throw a
lights.
candlestick at him.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get a deaf person's attention, it would be appropriate to throw a light object at him or her.
Only if you're angry.
It's
It's
false.
never appropriate to throw a light object at
But we
him or
always used to
her.
What
throw, if
number
we were
was
out
it?
walking,
6?
we threw rocks at
Six.
little pebbles.
Now,
Because
see, I don't have an answer key, but I had these highlighted and I hope that
I think you're
Correct
right.
You're
right.
It's really not a good idea, it's improper.
right.
It's-
It'd be a problem.
Yeah,
Unless it's
touch
your kid.
them
Right,
or-
your kid, you can do whatever you want with your
And
kid.
in some situations, it would be appropriate to stop. In some situations, it would be appropriate. It depends on the
Unless it's
situation.
a cement floor and
Well,
won't do any
the
good
stuff
anyway.
that the deaf do isn't what the hearing would do.
You know, and
Deaf
you
are gonna
couldn't-
be rude
I-
to each
You really
other.
couldn't do much
They
here
do
though,
throw
I don't
things
think if you did
Exactly,
that.
they're not gonna feel
It would be
it, so.
more like.
But upstairs,
I did that. We-
up there we could. My, we're
Were
taking
you
seasick up
with us
there.
at Chico's?
So
And I
bad.
was, you know, because they were all right in there.
Okay, number 7, Sandy, ASL grammar is the same as English grammar, except that ASL is visual. False.
False.
That's right. ASL is totally different from English. It has a
Yeah.
totally different structure. If we did it right, it would be time, subject, object, verb. And really, you're not, even though it's very hard for me to do this, and I'm the worst at it because, especially as fast as the preacher is, you're supposed to wait till at least one sentence before you start interpreting, because you're supposed to take everything and turn it around to where it's that way. And that's ideal. That's the way it's supposed to be when you interpret.
But as fast as he is, we'd lose him.
But it is, but I do find that sometimes if you hear a time, it's easier to put the time at the beginning, and then everything else will. And if you ever find yourself, if you want to try to make it more ASL, you can ask questions and when you're signing. When you're trying to, instead of making just making the statement, you can put a question in the middle of it,
Even if he doesn't?
even if he doesn't, because it clarifies it. And I'll show you later on an example of that. But let's see here. Okay, and then this gives the objectives. Now, we don't have a video player today, but if we had a video player, and if I had brought some of those
We can do it
Bravo
next, we
family.
can do it next week.
Next week, I'll try to bring the Bravo, see if I can get them from the library, get the beginning of the Bravo family. I have from tape 5 on. I
Do
don't
you know
have
for
tape
sure when
one.
you're moving?
No,
Not yet, we don't know anything really. Except that my mother's coming home, she came home today, I think.
But
the
you know,
retirement's on the 22nd.
but you're still planning, you're still definitely planning to go there?
We're pretty sure. we're
Yeah,
gonna go
she's
up there.
falling apart too fast.
I think my mom and dad probably won't.
We can move back here when they
might
go
live a
on,
couple more years.
when they leave.
They're only in their sixties, but both of
they-
them are very, very sick.
Your dad will probably live to be 110, but his mother's not
Yeah.
gonna. His dad's got longevity in the
But he
family.
smoked a lot, and he's got 80%
He's got
blockage.
carotid
He's got
arteries
100%
that are blocked.
blockage on one side and 80% on the other. And I've always asked, well, why don't they clean that out? And I guess they can't.
Up into the brain already.
So he's
yeah.
he's got, this close to having a stroke.
Tomorrow, we're gonna have a deaf person here. His name is Marcus, his sign name is like.
And he went to Bible college and stuff.
Cox is
He
supposed to
will
come
pay
tomorrow too.
attention.
They
He won't
missed
miss
you
anything. And
very
he'll
much
sign all
Wednesday
the
night.
music and everything.
Oh, good.
He's a Bible college student. He graduated this year. And he'll talk to you.
Culture notes in here.
Did you say he usually goes to Franklin?
He does,
In
he
the
wants to
past.
visit Temple one time,
Okay.
just to
'cause
see
I was
his
gonna
old
say,
friends. That's where he's from.
They don't have an interpreter.
No, he went without an interpreter.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I know they don't have an interpreter.
We went, and that's when we met him, many years ago, we met him there. And we stayed for a while, and then he was,
I say the most important thing for y'all is to drop he and she and him and her
All the
and
articles.
his and
Get rid of
them and they and all that and get to this.
We never learned those.
And
Some
this
of us
is not,
didn't.
everybody, you can put your hands up and do this with me. They, they. Okay, and that's they. When you just do a sweeping point, they. I. This is I, not the letter I. You just point at yourself, and that is I. You. You. And then if it's possessive, it's hers, or his, or, his. It's,
Or mine.
Open palm, or mine,
Or all yours?
or yours.
all of yours,
right.
all y'all.
And once you get used to doing that,
Love that statement.
you'll have so much more freedom, so much more time to do other things that you'll be amazed. And then another thing that will help too is if you learn to use classifiers. And classifiers, and you've seen that on a couple of them. I haven't got to do that recently, but one time I got stuck up there with the music recently, a couple weeks back, and it was so fun because I took I know it was People Need the Lord, and you do the classifier. Well, this is a classifier, and you just have this person going past there, people passing by, and you got another person passing by, and you do that, and you don't have to say the people were passing by. You don't have to do that. You can say people, like that, and then you've got, and it's beautiful, but then you got so much more time now to do something else.
I wish, well, you guys went to that deaf something or other show, but if you see deaf acting, they don't use words. They pantomime everything. And this Bible college that Marcus and Luke and Maria went to, their choir.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
there
so
was no
much-
words.
In
It was all
college,
pantomime.
and Tidewater.
Yeah, well, they're right near Tennessee Temple. They
Tidewater,
fellowship
sorry.
with Tennessee Temple. They're
We lived in Virginia, so I think Tidewater. Tarrant County College, they have a real wonderful sign language program there. And the woman that directs it, her husband is a pastor, a deaf pastor in Arlington,
That New Life.
at New Life Fellowship.
No, it's not Arlington, is it?
Or
I think it's still
no,
called
still
Fort Worth, yeah.
But anyway, and a lot of times they make me mad because even though she has a husband who's a pastor and stuff, a lot of teachers are really down on church interpreters. And I mean, they ping us all to death, even in class. I get so fed up with it, But really, it's true. We just kind of look in the book and we think, well, we got it. We don't need any help. We don't need anybody to show us anything, And
Or we get it from the deaf.
right, or from the deaf, which is good. But you need to be with the deaf. You need to be able to fellowship with them and see them, naturally. And that helps a lot, that does. But it's so much fun, like when you take something like, my project last summer was, I chose to do that song, what's that song, the Christmas song? That I
The
did last
drummer
year?
boy.
No, not the drummer.
Oh, the wind. Do you hear what I
Do we
hear?
hear what I hear? Okay? And so I asked a lot of the other class members, I said, okay, well, how do I convey this? Like, that one part that says about the tail of a kite in the sky. And they said, well, just do this. So, you know, you think, well, that doesn't really seem right, but when you do it, they get it, and it's just so beautiful. I mean, and I
You're
used,
showing a picture.
I used the silent, or no, what's
The
it?
what's the men's
The
choir?
vocal majority,
Yeah.
you know, it's from Dallas area. Oh, to me, they are just powerful. You know, you got all those men's voices, and they do that song. And I'm telling you what, I had a class full of skeptics and atheists and everything else. But when I did that, they were just like that. I mean, it was just so effective and so powerful because you practice it and you do it in the ASL, and you could just painting pictures. And it's just much more effective than interpreting every word. Do you hear what I hear? You know, but to actually paint pictures and tell a story that way. And when we get a video, we'll show you some of that. And these are the ones they use now at the Tarrant County College. Their deaf program they have there, they use signing naturally. And they got in here the Star Spangled Banner, and they show you how to do that. I know, everybody just, we watched it one time and it was amazing, the stuff that they do on it. And then, if we could get some pictures of Luke's deaf choir, maybe we could bring that in.
Which we never got.
We never got them.
You know, those Christian schools.
Now, grammatical notes, some more grammatical notes. I'm not gonna go over a lot of signs because you guys know a lot of signs. In fact, you could probably teach us a few signs, so.
You know, we need to know how to put them together and, you know,
We're gonna talk about important things to do.
good, good.
Drop, like I said, drop all that stuff, he, she, him, they, all that stuff, and this. Ness, goodness.
We used to use all those too, so don't think.
And we use them too, so don't feel bad, but you don't need it. You don't need it, get rid of it, forget it. It's good, it's not goodness. And I'll probably you'll probably see me up there signing, and I'll do the same thing. ING, you don't need it, don't do it, okay? Just drop it, because you'll have, especially as fast as that pastor is, our pastor, you don't have time for it. You'll be amazed, just dropping and, of, the, and going on to the next thought. All you need is the main, the time, subject, object, verb, and you can really get the truth across to a person that speaks ASL, and even ones that are maybe more English, they understand ASL too. So, to learn about grammatical aspects of ASL, okay, there in the video, there's a grammatical notes thing. ASL grammar and English grammar are different. There are many ways of asking questions in ASL. This lesson focuses on two. The yes-no question format elicit yes or no response. The non-manual grammatical markers associated with yes-no questions are eyebrows raised. So you raise your eyebrows. Head slightly tilted when you ask the question. Your eyes make direct contact with the deaf person that you're speaking to. And the last sign is held, waiting for a response. So instead of signing, like you said, with the question mark,
What's your name?
you,
Okay.
store, go, you know, and you raise the eyebrow, you tilt the head, and you wait for the response with the last, you know, haven't gone, late, haven't gone to the store. And that's good. So that's yes, no. The WH question, which when I went through this in class, you had to identify the difference between a yes, no question and a WH question. I didn't see the difference, but anyway. The WH question
You ladies,
format.
I forgot, all of you might get it, you're probably smarter than us.
The WH format asks who, what, where, when, how, which, why, etc. The non-manual grammatical markers associated with WH questions are the eyebrows are furrowed down, or furrowed, okay? The head is slightly tilted, and the last sign is held waiting for a response.
What are you signing, who? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, who, what, where, when, Why? Which?
When.
Isn't this what? Yeah.
This
What?
is a new ASL sign we learned.
What? It's not what. It's
It's-
what.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the internet, they teach that as where?
And
Well,
where.
And
it's
where.
where and what. Your
And
words
then-
are a
They
little
use-
And you
bit
have to
for
be
both.
careful now. A lot of times people use when. That this is a question. So if he went to the store when, I'll say, when is a statement, don't use it as a question. I know it sounds the same, but it's not. It's a, you know.
When it's in the middle of a sentence, don't sign a bunch of words and then say when, because especially in music, you're gonna find this stuff. There's gonna be words in there for hearing people just so you can have a poem. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything to the deaf, leave them out. What it means is very confusing. When God sent his son, leave the who out. God sent his son, and go on, or whatever else is coming up, just leave that word out.
Yeah, because see, who in that
Who's the
case
question?
is a pronoun, is a.
Right, it's a question.
Right, it's, in that case though, in most cases in that song, it's not a question. So just leave it out. Because, you know, he who died for me, he who died for me, no. He
But if you use
died for me.
who will save the children, you would use
Yes, and then it's appropriate, right? But sometimes you can just drop it altogether because if it's not a question, don't ask a question. Okay.
Sandy, is a video player not in there?
Hmm?
Is a video player not in there?
It's locked.
Hmm?
No,
Oh.
it's locked. There's another one around.
There's
there.
another thing, I don't know if you're going over that or not, but
Go ahead.
if a song, this is mainly in singing where I run into all this stuff, because singing is made for hearing people.
Yes. and
So
I
if it
do.
says Jesus, I was trying to think how this was left off in one of the songs. Something about, or it, or, I can't think of it now, but make sure, you know, you let them know who you're talking about.
Yes, and you could say
You'll
Jesus.
see
you
it
know,
in the song.
If it
You'll be
says
like,
he and it's talking about Jesus, you could sign Jesus so that you can be more specific, you know.
especially if there's a visitor. If there's a visitor that's not saved, you gotta be real careful to sign God and Jesus and leave all the hymns out. 'cause they won't
It's
know who it
hard,
is.
music's really hard for me because we spent so many years, I love signing music, I really do. But the problem is, I spent so many years signing music with every word to try to change it to ASL becomes, oh man, I'm not supposed to do that because I've been signing it that way for so long. You know, like to, you know, to go to Calvary. Well, we don't need this sign to. But you say, well, it's in the music and it's got that flow to it. Well, then we
It
have
is
to just
to us,
learn to
'cause
say,
we can hear it.
go to Calvary. And leave out the twos. But I know that it's simply, I say that, I'm gonna be out there and we're gonna be singing and we're
Or
gonna do
if,
that.
I know one, if it says live and life together, because a lot of songs will do that, live and life. You're not,
Do it twice.
yeah, don't do it twice, just leave one of them out. Or think of another way to say the next
Oh, and
phrase.
another thing I noticed recently,
But it's hard because you're in the middle of a song.
if
And you don't know ahead
If you
of
got
time.
two words in a sentence and they have the same sign, then spell one.
Yeah, that's what they thought
Don't
of it.
sign the same sign twice.
But if you're doing music,
You don't have time, and
Well,
you just gotta
Then
change
you're
the
gonna have
next
to change it
phrase.
to a different word or something. You can't, it doesn't work to sign the same sign
Why
twice.
does it mean it takes away? from
Yes, it
Yeah.
takes away from it.
Well,
So,
burden is one that's often twice.
Yeah,
I
burden
can
is
use
one that's
burden
stuck
one
in
A
there.
burden
and
and
burden.
load.
Yeah.
It's like a
yeah,
load.
on
yeah.
cares or worries or whatever, but you have to think about it and change it because when you use the same sign twice, it just loses it, okay? Another thing is deaf don't understand negatives. You know, and a lot of our songs are that way. Isn't he wasn't wonderful, wonderful? So you're saying he's not wonderful? The deaf don't understand that. You say, or that one song, I can't stand interpreting this song.
Well, they don't sing it much anymore.
If that isn't love, then heaven's not real. The ocean is dry. You know the song I'm talking about?
Yes, she
Well,
does.
that whole
Oh, they
song
sing it here sometimes?
is negative. So to a deaf person, it means nothing. So what are you saying? Heaven's real. The ocean's not dry.
Can't say
And
that.
the deaf are
Oh,
going,
the ocean's wet?
so what's the point here? I don't get it, you know? And it is, it's very difficult because a lot of things they don't get. You know, it's like certain jokes and stuff. there are hearing jokes and there are deaf jokes. If a joke is not visual, the deaf don't get it. The deaf don't understand play on words. Some of them do because they've been around hearing people a lot, or they're just they're very intelligent. They catch it. I'm not saying deaf people aren't intelligent, but it's a different culture. It's a different culture. But my son, he gets plays on words.
And our daughter-in-law, she's very smart.
But a lot of deaf people don't
She's
get
smarter
play
than
on
any
words.
deaf person in here.
You know what I mean by play on words?
lot.
Like it
Puns.
sounds the same, and it's funny. Actually, our daughters don't get play on words because
Well, if a child
They don't
can't get it,
understand
the deaf aren't
they-
gonna get it. Let's
they-
put it that way.
Vocabulary.
they're just
that
learning
hard
the
of
English
words,
language, so
they're
they don't
not-
get a lot of things. I have to sit there and go, okay, this means this, and this means that, and then by the time I finish explaining the joke, it's like, oh, forget it.
I have a daughter like that.
Some
She
people
has no
don't,
excuse.
they don't
Very
learn, they're
literal.
just not
Like,
clever.
like,
They're
because when I
clever.
told this to Bessie today, but she didn't get it, I said, and I heard it on Home Improvements. What do you get when, what's it say on their towels when a snake and a mortician marries? What's it say on their towels?
On
On their
their
towels,
towels.
What does it say on their towels?
Instead of his and hers, you mean?
Yeah, his and hers.
Oh, how cute.
But then she's like, what's a mortician?
What's a hearse? And that's what the deaf would say. What's a
Yeah.
mortician? What's a hearse? How would you even sign mortician?
Oh,
I get Palmer at the
speaking
funeral.
of jokes, I'll
And
give
you
you a
bury
joke
people.
here. I heard this at a preacher convention one time, and I told this, and you guys liked it, I think, when we had a big fellowship the first time we came with Ronnie. There's this Indian, and he's in World War I, and he's in this trench, and he wants to talk to this guy that's next to him. So he says to the person next to him, he says, I say there, are you in the infantry, the infantry? And he didn't get any answer. So he says, are you in the paratroopers, the paratroopers? He still didn't get any answer. He says, are you in the artillery, the artillery? Still nothing. And he said, are you in the signal corps, the signal corps? Still nothing. So, and actually this other guy was talking to an Indian. So this Indian, he jumps up out of the trench and he runs back and forth dodging bombs and bullets, and he jumps into this other trench, and this Indian says to him, are you crazy? He says, no, but that man back there is. He just said to me, when the sun goes down and everyone goes home, I'll bash your head against the trees till your eyes bulge out. So we have to be careful as we can come across wrong now. Okay, here's some more culture notes. Questions. Deaf people do not have their own culture because they belong to the American culture. True or false?
Oh,
Sort
it's
of
another
redundant.
test thing.
It's false, but you know what? When you raise a deaf child, you don't think that. We raised him and said, I don't care what culture you belong to. You live in our home, you're a Christian, you're growing up in our culture. But when he went to college and saw the deaf people, he said, what a bunch of weirdos, I don't like that. And then a month later he said, I love the deaf, and you hearing people got problems.
So it's different.
It is a different culture.
Okay, number two.
Even
So
if
what-
you don't teach them that way.
So you've already raised somebody?
Our
Oh,
son
their
is
son.
deaf,
What was that
How old is
question
he
again?
now?
25,
I'm sorry.
What was that question again?
and he's
Number
back there.
one.
That old?
It was deaf people do not have their
He's our
own culture
youngest
because
son.
they
We have a
belong to the
28-year-old.
American culture.
Oh.
You come to his retirement, you'll see them. You won't see all our grandkids, some of them aren't coming, but the deaf
That'd be like
couple have
saying
a grand-
Texans
have a
don't
son.
have their own
He can
culture
hear.
because they belong to the American culture.
Yeah, right.
Right. Okay, number two. Cultural information must be included within any language learning experience. True or false? That's right, it's true. We can answer these out loud.
And they all have some culture. Our son was raised homeschooled in a Christian home. His wife was an only child. Now, she went to the deaf school, but she was so intelligent, they put her in a hearing school to get her, so she'd get more of an education. But she was the only deaf person in her family. Her family doesn't sign. She can really read lips, and she can really talk. Well, her mother signs now, but when growing up, I think the mother learned signs, but nobody else did. So, but those two, like I said, they're in the deaf culture. They have that culture of, we are deaf. And we, even though they weren't raised up in this big deaf culture thing, they,
Now, and our son is in that now, you know. The French, German, and American people have distinct cultures, but deaf people only belong to a community. True or false? These are redundant questions.
False, same as we've been
False,
saying,
right.
yeah.
All cultures, including that of deaf people, include customs and values.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, true.
it's true, because there's things that the deaf they don't want it going on. Even if it's a deaf, uneducated deaf person, the other deaf will get mad at them, and they'll just go up in their face and tell them. You're not gonna act like that. You couldn't do that as a hearing person, but another deaf person will go up and say things you can't say.
And I tell you too, and it's the same thing with interpreters. You deal with interpreters and dealing with this ASL English, sign English, and actually, no hearing interpreter signs perfect ASL because it's a deaf language, and you could try your best, but you still end up, you know, being almost pidgin English sometimes, you know, in your style and everything. And the same thing, you know, the signed English, you know. You can go to one extreme, you know, if you go look at signed English is totally different than ASL. I mean, not just because it has articles and stuff, but some of their signs, they're two-handed signs. They're totally different than an ASL equivalent. So, you know, there's, and when you start talking to these interpreters and stuff, there's very heated discussions. It's almost like talking about the King James Bible and,
Yeah.
you know, and it gets very heated, so.
They have a secret, or they have a code language that they use whenever a hearing person comes up and suddenly you're lost, you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah. They
I'll
go
tell
right
you what
into
our
pure
son and
ASL and
daughter-in-law
you're going,
did. When
I
they
don't know
went
what
to
you're talking about, but also another thing is too, that you walk up on it, and they've got stuff that they already established certain syntaxes and stuff, and they've been talking, and they already know, well, we're talking about Claris, you know, and Claris lives over here or whatever, and you're watching them, well, you don't know that this is the sign for Claris, you know, and she
That's
lives over there or
Secretary of
whatever.
the Deaf's
And so you see
calling.
this, and it just throws you all off because you're going, well, wait a minute, what are they talking about? And, you know, they may be talking about something really simple.
When our son met his wife at college, they could both read lips because they're in these hearing homes. The other deaf couldn't. But there were hearing teachers and deaf teachers. So they couldn't talk, but if they signed, everybody would know what they were saying. So they spoke to each other without their voices, and they read each other's lips, and nobody else knew what they were talking about.
In the deaf school.
If they wanted to say something, they didn't want,
Because
like,
some deaf people
we'll
can't.
get pizza after class or something, but we're not inviting the
It's
whole
a
deaf group.
misnomer, too. That's another misnomer, that you think that all deaf people can read lips. Not all deaf people can read lips.
It takes a lot of work and a lot of
Some deaf people
skill
do
to
read
read
lips,
lips.
some don't. In Luke's case, he didn't learn sign language until he was 7.
'Cause
So
where
from age 2 until age 7, he only read lips in school. That was all in Pennsylvania. That's the way they did it. You had to read lips, and so they figured that reading lip was such a hard thing that if they learned sign language first, they would never learn to read lips.
Have you ever read about Alexander Graham Bell and the controversy with, because his wife was a lip reader? And so he wanted all the deaf to read lips and talk. But Gallaudet had the deaf daughter, went over to France and the person went to England that he sent over, and then they went over to France because they couldn't find a sign language, so they got the sign language and brought it back from France. So, Gallaudet. So they come back here, and here was Alexander Graham Bell, and here was Gallaudet, and they had this and this controversy has been going on ever since. Do you teach the deaf to sign? Do you teach them to read lips first? So in Pennsylvania, they learned to read lips first. But it made it very difficult,
And
total communication. And it's very difficult to communicate to your little
I
child.
mean, total communication is verbal, and it's also signs, but it's also pantomime. It's everything. It's all put together. Anything to get the point across is total communication. And that. Okay, and here's cultural appropriate ways for getting a deaf person's attention, which we talked about earlier, but check all that apply. A gentle tap on the shoulder.
Gentle. Notice the word gentle. The deaf are never gentle. When they want you, they knock you over. You're breaking my arm. You mind? If you ever go to deaf camp, your shoulders will never be the same when you get back because that's how they get everybody's attention.
That's right.
They slug you, they, you know, especially the deaf children. They're really hard on your arms.
Yeah.
Wave one's hand toward the deaf person.
That's usually what they do. Yeah, they do that. Did you get him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what ours
We
did.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been known to do that.
Yeah.
When Luke was little, we used to tease. We used to go, Luke, Luke.
Yeah, we tease the hearing.
You know,
people.
he's nowhere around. We were always clowning around. You know, like I could hear it if he did that. You know.
Well, hearing people think that.
Yeah.
Well, that's his sign name. Well, yeah, if you want to talk about him, not to him.
We had somebody ask us one time. We had Luke's Bible had finger spelling on the outside of it. It said Luke, and it had Bible, you know, on the outside of it. So this guy is a friend of ours. He said, "Is his Bible in Braille?"
A lot of people get that mixed up. They
No,
think
his
some of
Bible's
it's
not in Braille. He's
together.
not blind. He's deaf.
If the deaf want to say something's written on their T-shirt, that's how they do it. They'll put their hand right here and they'll say Bob Jones University or Pensacola. That's how they'll say it. You know, they'll do it right in front of their shirt. That's what's written on the shirt.
I have this. Well, I guess we can have it. It says here, call out in a low tone.
You could do that if they're hard of hearing. Some deaf could hear that. I think my daughter-in-law might hear that. I'm not sure.
Stomp a foot, causing a vibration. Okay.
It's good. We lived in a trailer house a lot. That works great with deaf people.
Or gently
You could get
spray,
them the whole way across the trailer.
gently spray water at the deaf person.
Sounds good to me. Pay attention.
We need that up there. We're interpreting sometimes.
Get a squirt gun.
I think it's raining in here.
I wouldn't think that'd be a problem.
There is one other way. When Luke
So-
was little, it was
So we're
only him
supposed
and
to
us.
check all these that apply?
Right, that's what it's, yeah. I think
We
that's-
used to interpret just for Luke, so we sat in a chair, and he was little, like these girls. So I would cross my legs, and when Luke wouldn't pay attention, I would give him a little nudge with my foot. We came out of church one day, and we're in
Lady
California
Gaudads.
now, you know, where you don't abuse your kids over there.
I saw that.
I saw you
that.
kick him. I said, no, you saw me nudge him. If he didn't show up the first time with his face, I would have kicked him.
And he would do this.
He
would be,
always
you'd be
paid
interpreting for
attention.
him, and his eyes would go just past you. You know, just past this way or that way, and he was just kind of in a daze. So I started asking the questions when I interpreted. It was my son. I'm not interpreting for any. I wasn't interpreting for any other deaf.
It's like any other
So
little
I could just
child.
say, you know, what he say, and I would say, who is such and such or whatever, and he would go, oh,
We had a
pay attention.
We had a
And
deaf
I have to
man
go
who wouldn't
and
pay
do whatever it
attention,
was.
so we would ask him the sign for things. What's the sign for this? And you could see he was going
Yeah.
off to sleep. Huh?
I do
Oh,
that.
oh, oh,
I do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I do that to the deaf here because sometimes they wander off or they're
Yeah, see,
talking or
I've
whatever.
seen you
I'll
do
say,
that. What's the
what's the
sign?
sign for this? You know, and then
It wakes
and
them up.
I get them to
Yeah,
go.
I've
I'll try
doing
to
that.
kind of play with them a little bit, like I can't remember the sign or whatever. Try to get them to pay attention, and then they're like, they're into it. Oh, he's funny. Oh, he's there. You know, they'll start looking at me and paying attention. 'Cause they get bored. I mean, we have all this voice inflection, we have audience response, we have all this stuff that goes on. The deaf don't have anything but us up there going, you know, so if we don't get some facial expression and some
Move around a little
positioning,
bit.
use
Push them
position.
away.
If you've ever taken drama,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to do that. But the thing to remember, and I have the
I
hardest
think the
time with
interpreter was
myself.
sleeping.
Don't
If you
leave
put
somebody
something
here.
over here, and that's where
Come
it
back to
stays,
it.
right? You can't have it over here now.
Unless you pick it up,
Because the
move it.
deaf are thinking it's over here, okay? And it doesn't matter. It could be later on, you put something over here, and maybe the preacher goes on about something else, and he goes on. Well, then when he comes back to that, you can go right back to that. The deaf think that way. They know it's right there. They know it. You put it there, you have to establish it. But once you establish it, they know that's where that is, okay? And but that's hard. It's really hard sometimes when you're dealing with the Old Testament and stuff, and you got different characters. Like the other day, Athaliah,
Oh, yeah.
Jehoshaphat. I was like, in my own mind, I couldn't get the character straight when he was telling the story. So if you don't have this character straight and you're trying to establish, because one time I know I did it, I had Jehoshaphat and somebody else confused, and then I was like, no, that's not what he's meant. It was him over here, and he was, And you have to try to do that anyway, try to establish areas and keep them the same. And then maybe if you have to make up a sign, but be very careful when you make up signs.
Yeah, we used to make up
Especially-
signs.
What's this thing that somebody's doing up here with the
Don't
P?
get near your nose.
Don't put anything near your nose.
Those are dirty
Don't
signs.
do it, that's a dirty sign. I mean, especially,
We
that,
used to do it.
if you put a P on your nose, that's a part of something that you don't wanna
Man's
talk.
body, you
Yeah.
figure it out.
The same thing with the letter D. Don't do it, don't put it on your nose. So be very careful when you're
We used
using
to
those
sing Yankee
letters.
Doodle Dandy.
Stuff.
I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Yeah,
Doesn't want to look to see all the words.
yeah, so we made up
Well,
our
look,
own
didn't
little
know
sign.
those signs.
And then we
It
were
was
at
okay.
camp, and this, he's saying a dirty word. And we're like, oh, who's saying, one of our campers was saying a dirty word. And we're going, and he's signing that word. And we're going, what is that word? And the other, one of the counselors told us, oh, damn, what's that?
We've been using that sign all along.
I mean, but he meant it as a dirty word,
Yeah.
though, so.
Yeah,
Your
if you've never
context
been to
can
deaf
use
camp, you need to
Save
go.
you, but still.
Sometimes you just gotta be careful, like I know they
You
said.
can,
too,
but you know, if
that
you get an unsafe person in there, they want to think the worst.
if you do this too many times, if you do hungry
Oh, he just learned
too
this
many
sign.
times, if you do it too many, like more than once, it becomes something bad. It becomes a desire. It's not good, okay? So be very careful with that, you know.
Because I always.
And I don't like learning that. I always hated that when we went to Trinity and the one person that would teach sign language, she would teach all the dirty signs. And I'm like, I wish you wouldn't teach me that. But then I started thinking, well, I guess I need to know that. Like
Yeah.
breakfast. If you do breakfast like this,
It's a swearing word.
it's the big B.
Yeah, eat in the
It's the
morning,
big
or you
T.
could say breakfast, be very careful not to hit yourself with it.
That's the
Because
big,
then it's
you know.
just be the female dog word.
You could do talk like that. We do talk like that. So
But make sure you get your fingers apart. Yeah.
But B up there, that's it. You know. So sometimes it helps knowing that stuff. Culturally appropriate ways for waking a deaf person up include a light flash briefly, a gentle tap, a gentle spray of water at the deaf person.
Again with the water.
Gentle tap.
Yeah, a gentle
If they're
tap.
asleep, how would you know you turned the lights out?
Yeah, a gentle tap
Didn't
or
tap never work for my kid, he wasn't deaf.
lights don't usually
Well, the
work.
deaf
but
didn't
they
work
work
with mine either. The water worked, but it wasn't gentle spray.
Luke and Maria have a vibrator that you would think a jet engine had come by or a tractor trailer was parked in front of your house. They get up.
The other day I woke up the two little ones and I turned them upside down so they were hanging upside down like this from the bed, you know, both of them. And they're like, Daddy! So they finally got up though, after the blood went to their head.
When Luke and Maria had their baby last year, they had their baby last year, white girls, I'm trying to tell a story. Anyway, you know, now the fathers go in with the mothers that have their baby, and they all sleep together in their little room. So we go in the hospital to see the baby, we were at the hotel, and we come back, and they said, well, they're in there, how'd they say that? Oh, the nurse says, go knock on the door. I said, do you know who's in there? They're both deaf. Do you think I can knock on the door? That's what we do. I said, do they answer you? No.
They don't know that.
That's not how you get a deaf person in another room. You have to open the door and wave
When we were
your
bringing
hand.
Luke up, I was so
Hold
surprised.
her up, you know.
You would tell people that he's deaf. He's deaf. And their first response is to start shouting.
At the top of their lungs.
It will do no good to shout. He doesn't hear you. You don't understand. He doesn't hear anything. He is deaf. He's not hard of hearing. He's deaf. And
You
it
know-
makes it worse when you're shouting. Because when you're shouting, you're like, your mouth is like over enunciating. And
Speaking of shouting, we had an interpreter in Virginia who signed all her signs like this. And Luke would say, why is that woman always yelling at me? I said, she's not yelling. Why does she always say, instead of saying no, she would say, no. And Luke would say, what is wrong with her? But she signed all her signs that way. She just cut them all off.
her expression
And she was,
abrupt.
she had 6 kids, might have something to do with it, you know. But he would say, tell her to calm down. You know, don't sign like that, because the deaf think you're yelling at them. I don't see anybody do
Or
that here.
expression. Or another thing is too, when you're doing expressions, like we're talking about questions and stuff, is if you're negative and you're signing something positive, you just negated it. That's called negating.
And it made it
When
negative.
you can say something,
I
happy?
don't like, yeah.
well, that means you're not happy, because you're shaking your head no. You don't have to say not. You can negate. There's a lot of signs, and there's a list of them in here. There's a lot of signs that you can negate.
You
That are a
just sign the
positive
sign
sign,
and shake your
and
head
you
no.
can say true, and go, true.
Not true.
That's not true. Negative. You know, and if your expression is the same way, if your expression looks negative, you know, like I used to use this all the time with people. Do you want to go to heaven? No. You want to go to hell? Yes. And the deaf will do that because
There you
your
go.
facial
Right.
expression says everything to them. You know, so be very careful about that. Nobody here has a problem with that. I'm not saying y'all do. I'm just sharing that with you. The non-manual markers associated with the WH question are, okay, we're not going to list them out here. I'm just going to ask you. Maybe a
Non-manual
non-manual
marker?
marker. We talked about that earlier.
The expression.
What are some of the
What would you do
non-manual
for
markers
who
that go with
without
the
the
WH
sign
question?
language? Yeah, turn your,
Like
yeah.
tilting your head, okay, yes. Raising your eyebrows.
Ask the question on your face.
Eyebrows furrowed, it says. What's some other ones? Can someone tell me?
What was the other one? I don't remember.
Direct
Short?
eye contact.
Not
Direct
you.
eye contact.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're looking right at them. If you're asking the question, you wouldn't be, are you going to the store? We had this guy when I was in boot camp that was our, you know how you have your company commander? This Filipino guy, he was the battalion commander. He was cross-eyed.
Oh.
Gosh.
He could take out a whole squad with one look. I mean, he'd be yelling at this guy, and if you're on either side of him, you're like, yes, sir! It was so hilarious. You wouldn't think anybody could be in the military like that, but I remember there was this cross-eyed guy. It was
That'd be
the
scary to
funniest
you
thing.
poor recruits.
Maybe he got that way in the military.
Yeah, somebody hit him
You
in
know,
the
it's
head.
like that guy that was walking down the hallway and he ran into that cross-eyed teacher and she said, why don't you look where you're going? And he said, why don't you go where you're looking? So, a yes-no question can be responded to with a yes or no answer. I don't know.
What is that?
means. A yes/no question can be responded with yes or no answer. Yes. Okay. What it's trying to show the difference between a WH question and a yes/no question. Okay. Yes, obviously it can be responded with yes/no question. But let me caution you, with as counselors with the deaf and dealing with their souls and salvation and all that stuff, don't ask yes/no questions. When you're dealing with them on salvation, you need to ask them a question that requires them to respond to you in an answer, a full answer.
In a sentence.
In a sentence, not a yes/no question.
They will
Because-
always say yes.
You know, are you saved? Yes. You know, just like hearing people do it too, but the deaf will do it even more so. So it's best to ask them to answer your question. Ask them,
Think more about like when you're dealing with children. You know, make them give it back to you. How did you get saved? You know, otherwise they're gonna say, yeah, I'm saved, just like a kid would do, and you'd say, really, what'd you do? Well, I don't know.
and then on the flip side, if the deaf person asks you a question and you're nodding your head, you better make sure that you know what they're talking about. You know, like,
Our
we had
little
that at camp.
homeschool baby.
Say, can I go in, a boy would say to us, can I go into the girls' dorm? And some counselors will be going, yeah. Do you know what you just said? You know, our sons did that. Both our sons did that. My deaf son and our hearing son, we had this deaf teenager with us, and he said something very bad.
Filthy.
It was very filthy, and it was very, very bad. And our sons were eating out with them and everything.
They weren't paying
And they were
attention.
going, and we're saying, you know what he just asked you? And you need to make sure you understand him before you start going. It was really bad. So make sure of that.
That's a tough one for me, because when I talk with Mike, he'll be sure to go slow for me, and I'll want him to go faster, so I'm going, yeah, and I'll miss something, and then I'll have to go back and say it again.
I do too, and I'm bad about it because I don't wanna, I get embarrassed and I don't wanna say, what's that sign, what is that, what's that sign doing right there that you're doing, what's that? And, cause Mike has a good voice when he wants to talk, but when he starts signing and stuff, sometimes, like, you know. And the deaf are very, I mean, you couldn't say it to a deaf person, but a lot of them are lazy signers.
Yeah.
They
So
slop their signs.
are all slopped. They're going, what was that?
He probably would have a slang if he spoke, you know, or abbreviate his words a lot.
Right, like an accent.
Yeah.
Where's he, which state is
New
he
York.
from? New York, oh yeah, he'd have a slang, all right, that's what I was gonna think.
Yeah, I did that when I first started signing. I went to a deaf event. And they asked me a
You wanna do
question
that?
and I was, oh yeah. We walked away and I was with my husband and we were newlyweds and he was laughing his head off. I said, why are you laughing? He goes, because she asked you a question about that flag and you said no. And I go, well, why didn't you tell me what she said? He just laughed. He goes, you need to make sure you know what she said. Never have I done that again. I was
It's easy
embarrassed.
to do.
Very embarrassed.
I don't have much problem with Allison, but I try to be sure I understand Helen.
It's different. Well, especially if they voice, because you get work.
Yeah, Helen doesn't voice, and she speaks, and she signs
total
ASL.
Right, so I
But
need
she's
to be
really
sure I get
clear,
every
once you learn
word.
ASL, her signs are clear. It's just trying to figure out what they mean. She signs better than those other two, when it comes to actual signing.
And they, I don't know if they've been going to another church on Sunday morning or what, but they should.
They've been out of town.
I know they were out of town recently.
Well, we were out,
We're
too.
gone from
They're supposed to
church
come
and
tomorrow.
stuff. Oh, they're coming.
Oh yeah, I told them Marcus is coming, they better show up.
Well, they came Wednesday night expecting to meet Marcus,
Ah.
but you didn't show up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We were all disappointed.
We're gonna try to bring him today, but we just couldn't get over there in time to get him, because we have to make sure that we get over where he's at.
We can't
and try to
communicate
find
with
him.
him unless he has his sidekick on. You can't call over there. I think his TTY never works, or you have to get somebody to answer the phone. The deaf people have those lights, but his family's not deaf. So there are no lights, so unless somebody's home, nobody's gonna answer the phone.
Or the door.
Or the door. So you've really got a mess going into a home like that.
Some deaf homes, you know, when you go visiting door to door and stuff, if they don't have a deaf doorbell, you have to
open their front
the
door.
and you have to go like this, you know, and it's like.
To total
it's kind of
strangers that you don't
dangerous,
know.
It's scary.
And hope nobody bites you while your arm is in that room. We had a whole deaf family in California, and they didn't have anything. They had no lights, they had no doorbells, nothing. And every time you went to visit, you stick your hand in there and wave at them. But
We
their
go
kids
visit-
always came to
In
church.
Virginia, we
The
had
whole
about
family was deaf?
Yes.
30 people in our sign language
And normally
class.
is that, they have everything. They have lights, they got vibrators.
50,
but
so
they
you had a
didn't
lot.
have-
But nobody wanted to go visiting on their own, so they would all say, can we come visiting with you? And I remember, we took a big van one time, we went to visit this old deaf woman.
And nobody would talk to her but us.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was
What y'all
like,
come for?
all these people standing there like, hello, we're from Tabernacle Baptist Church. See all these people here, you know.
They all look at them. Would you bring the whole
It was
church
funny,
with you?
it was like I used to tease about going to visitation and go, shh, okay, everybody out. You know, we're gonna visit this poor old woman, she's like 80 years old.
You can't come to church, you just shut in. When she lived in this little trailer, we'd all get in that trailer and stand there. You couldn't move, you know.
Do people, okay, deaf people should be viewed with pity, true or false?
Well,
False. And then we give that a lot when we used to go out to eat and somebody would try to talk to Luke and we'd say, well, he's deaf, and they would say, oh, I'm sorry. It's not your fault, you know, don't worry about it. And I know they're trying to be nice, but, you know, sometimes it just gets a little bit over,
Don't
like.
know what to say.
Yeah. Families with deaf members can be closely connected. Families with deaf members can be closely connected, true or false?
You mean hearing families with deaf members?
Hearing families with deaf members can be true. Well, they don't say that, but that's what they meant, yeah.
True.
That's
We are.
true. Yes, we're very close to ours.
But, yeah, some aren't.
But
They
it
send them off
can
to
be,
the
it
deaf
can be
school
very
and they
difficult
forget about
though,
them
because
They can't take it.
I'm sure there was, and I know there was a lot of times that Luke missed stuff. He missed things. We tried to interpret everything, but sometimes things just happen, you know? There's grandpa and grandma are talking in the background and
They're demanding
they
all
say-
your attention.
Maybe they're taking our attention away from Luke, and a lot of times it still happens. She's signing to Luke and she's talking to Luke, and mom and dad will just walk right in and just, Jackie, do you know where, you know?
They don't know.
They don't know that, you know, hey, there's a conversation going on here.
And Luke used to
Just
get mad when he was a
interrupted, and it really makes
teenager.
him mad.
Teenagers get mad, you know, and he would get very mad. And not now, he's all grown up. It's like, yeah, that's grandma and grandpa, yeah.
So you have to do like this to the hearing people, so you can
Yes.
finish your conversation.
That doesn't work with his parents. You haven't
No.
met them yet.
Jackie!
That can happen a lot of times here on Sundays too. You'll be carrying on a conversation, somebody walks up and just starts talking and you're like, just a minute.
They don't know, because there's not a voice or sound going on. Let's see.
Or they think you can do both at one time.
Yeah,
Right.
And you
Yeah.
and your
you
brain
can't.
can only run so fast.
Whoa, wait. What?
Actually, you'll start signing what they're saying. Oh, wait a minute, that's not what I'm talking about.
You know, when the preacher is talking sometimes, there's times when he says stuff that's funny and the whole audience is laughing and I don't know what he said.
You tell your own joke
I don't know what it
What's
is.
the
It's
name of
like-
the towels of a
Is
set
there like an understanding or something that goes on? Because there's a lot of times that I'll be going on and all of a sudden everybody's laughing and I'm
Oh,
like,
sometimes.
and then the deaf are looking at me like,
Come on.
what's going on?
It
What's so
can
funny?
be
And I'm
his
like,
expressions, it can be, because he
Oh,
will
when you
do
miss it as
stuff,
an
and you
interpreter.
miss it if you're an interpreter, because he does do things that everybody else catches, and we don't.
yeah, and I'm like,
And we're looking at the
I'm
interpreter,
sorry.
so
and
we
they
don't get
can't
it
see
either.
it, so you've missed it too.
And sometimes like, is it last Sunday or Sunday before, Brother Husky made a comment
Oh, yeah.
about somebody, so in Sunday school,
And Pastor
something happened,
carried
and,
it
and so
on.
then Pastor mentioned it
and it
too
was
in
carried on, it's
church.
kind of an
So that's an
understanding.
Right.
understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if you're not in on it, well, you know. And
right,
I'm
he
like
didn't,
that when I'm
he
on
didn't go
church.
back and explain it again. What was it? I can't remember now what it was, but it was,
Of course, I'm,
It was
Next
so
time
funny.
preacher does that, we'll stop.
is preacher from
I
Texas?
know what you're talking about.
Was that the comment about his
No.
wife?
Why
No,
his
his
accent
wife-
See,
is
he's so
hard.
fast, his accent's so hard, and as a
Something
Texan, I'm
about
going,
Oscar makes a
what did
comment
he
about
say? What was that?
but his wife's fault.
Yeah,
It's in the
there
bulletin,
was
I think
more
it was.
to it, but Pastor only used half part of it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So I tell you when he really gets bad, he'll be telling somebody's name, and he drops the last name very softly, and or he mumbles it, and he says, "What did he say his name was?" No, I don't know.
There
No,
are
I couldn't hear
I
it
just
either.
read those names out and go, there was a man.
I don't know what his name was, but
You can't always get it.
Well, I got a hearing loss anyway, and then you add to that the fact that I'm a Southerner, and she's a Yankee, and she just, you know, we do that when we go visiting sometimes. I'm talking to somebody and maybe they're Yankee and she's a Yankee, and then she goes, what he means is, I'm like, yeah, that's it, that's what I was
that's
trying
why I
to
like
say.
all y'all. I think that's most adorable. All y'all.
And there are
All
also, there are also dead spots in the auditorium.
What'd you say?
And sometimes where we're interpreting is there.
Yes.
But I know what a hoagie is and a grinder. See, you guys don't know what it is.
Yeah,
The
I do.
hoagie and you do.
When I say one time to
You
her,
have to be from up north. We're trying to teach the girls. Hoagie, grinder, you're gonna know these words, these are important words.
the milk is ruined.
There's
Milk
some
is ruined.
sandwiches that just.
Ruined. I don't know, when I was a kid, we said the milk is rent. You know,
Well,
there's
his
no tea in
grandmother's from
there.
the panhandle,
And
so they
she's
have
going,
a heavy accent.
What? I said, the milk is rent.
He told me the milk was run.
She
I
goes,
said, how you spell
what
that?
do you mean? I said, the milk is ruined. Sorry.
Here I am homeschooling. Then you will say ruined or you won't say it.
Did you eat? Jeet?
Did you?
And can you imagine reading somebody's lips
Yeah.
when you're not from Texas and try to get the Jeet?
No.
Luke could never read
What's
his
that?
mother's mouth until he met his wife's parents. They're from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
They talk the same way.
I'll show you an example of that.
His mother showed up at the wedding, and Luke read all her lips, and she was in shock. I said, well, he's been in Georgia for 4 years.
There's nothing now. Here, what am I saying?
What do you
You
say?
do?
Nope,
Nope.
wrong one, wrong,
Do it.
nope.
I'll have two.
What?
I'll have two. I'll have two.
Wow.
That's how Ted Camp teaches sign
Saying
language.
you see people pick, well, he can just read lips. No, a lot of times things look the same. They look a lot the same. There's a lot of other examples like that that are very close. Yeah, what time is it?
I've got, it's only 5, you got a lot of
Five,
teacher
that's
time.
Good. If you don't mind.
When you fall asleep, we'll know class is over.
Let's see.
Y'all start
Like
leaving.
English, adjectives in ASL are usually placed before the noun.
In ASL?
True or false?
Oh.
Or
I was saying.
adjectives are placed before the noun in
Now, what are
ASL.
you doing?
No, false, false. It's usually boy, large,
Yes.
store, old or something, It's always that way because they think in pictures, so you have to think in pictures. Well, I'm gonna establish the fact that there's a store first, and then I'm gonna show that it's an old store, or it's a large boy, boy large. And now, the thing they tell you in class though is just to be flexible because, that doesn't mean we're not gonna get the adjectives are not gonna be on the other side sometimes, but as a rule, usually it's on the ones afterwards. And they think that way, so. Signs, changing the movement of signs. Okay. Signs can be modified by changing the movement of the sign. True or false?
Sign can be directly changing.
Movement of the sign. Now what that means is, okay, there are certain signs that are directional signs. Like, instead of saying, I'm gonna give this to you, I'm gonna give it to you. Or he
Or you're gonna
gave
give it to me.
it to me.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say, he gave it to me. That's redundant. Because I just said that. I said, he gave it to me. I don't have to say to me at all, because it's already implied. And there are certain signs like that that are called directional signs that you can do that with. You can, and we'll try to go over some of those, but they imply the whole thought there. Okay. Adjectives can be modified simply by changing facial expressions. True or false?
True.
True.
Like blue, or blue.
Yeah, well, it's like bright blue or dull blue. They actually do that.
The deaf do that, they're not gonna do it around here,
But-
they do it to each other.
We just covered also, like negating signs. You can negate a sign and that will change it too.
I don't like it, they don't just say like,
Like
no.
it. I don't like it. I learned this one, I showed you, and I know y'all have done this, but this can be awful. It can be an awful thing, or it can be something that is fantastic. It can be, it can go, it can be
You just
used,
learned
it can be
this.
used either way.
I never
And
learned
I've seen it.
that.
You know what's fun when you're interpreting? It's why it's hard for me to interpret when I don't have, it's hard to interpret when there's not a deaf person there. Because when I'm interpreting, I'm looking at their faces and I'm thinking, are they getting it? And when I see something like it, when you do that, you go, it's awful, and you see it in their faces. And, you can just,
sign.
certain signs is just, oh man, that's good. That one worked. That got across, And it encourages you when you're signing because you're looking at them and you're
Helen's
conversing.
good about giving you feedback. isn't
Oh,
she?
yeah, Helen's real
Mhm.
good.
She is. She's really good about that, and it helps you. And then sometimes you look at them and they're going, I'm losing them. Let's see.
Or they're smacking their gum.
Yeah, they're smacking their gum.
He's been
Trying
around
to
them too
find
long. We used to have little deaf kids, the deaf kids are really enjoyed, they're under the chair, you're like, but you get up there, people are looking at you.
Okay. Here.
Then it's like,
Let's see what.
Then when it's your own child, you can discipline them, but when you bring them in on a bus or something, and they're little deaf guys, and they're just We had a little redheaded Jeff boy, he was so cute, but, oh, he was so bad. He would be under the pew, be dragging him out, you know? Everyone sit beside him so the interpreter could interpret. Sit up there now, don't move, I'll give you some candy.
Here's some signs. We've been waiting for some signs here. We've been sitting here patiently. And you all know, you probably know a lot of these signs, but we'll go over some signs for a little bit. Cook, right? Cook. Cook. That's like turning it over, right? Cook. Eat.
These are in that book? It's a beginner sign.
Egg. Well, there's some in here though that are good. I'll see later on here. Egg. Egg. Okay. Toast. Toast.
It's the old way of making toast on the fire. You have to flip it. Or those old
cereal.
toasters.
Cereal.
Oh, remember that?
Cereal like this.
Cereal.
This is cereal.
Which we never use.
We never use that, but it gives an ASL sign. Cereal. Or cereal can be
Cereal
like
with
this.
the grain.
Oh, or like
the
that. That
grain.
can be cereal too.
Push the
Like you're
harvest.
harvesting the grain.
Cereal.
Or cereal can be like this.
Cereal's what we always
Yeah.
used, but I don't know.
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
Well, oh, I guess OJ.
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 Yeah.
Coffee's bad.
Coffee's bad for you, but OJ can kill you.
Oh.
That's an
Orange
old
juice.
joke.
What's this?
Banana.
Banana.
Banana, that's right, banana. Okay, we'll try some different ones here. Well, I'll ask you this one.
You
'cause
sign 'em, let
this
them
one-
figure it out.
This one, we do wrong, we all do this one wrong. And I'll be surprised if you do it right. Milk. No,
No.
no,
It can't be this way.
no, that's milking a cow. Milk. Just like that. Milk. I know,
Isn't that what I
we
did?
always use that for milk.
Isn't that what I did to start with?
Yeah, okay, maybe
one
do that,
hand.
but I'm
And
just
then
saying,
I
it's
did
not,
this.
it's not like
Yeah,
this.
right.
That's milking a cow, and we used to do that too all the time. And here's a little joke for you. This is pasteurized milk. Going pasteurized, get it? Okay.
Ronnie was just here, he
I
told
was
them all the
gonna say.
jokes.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah.
Sears.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, so that's 1, that's easy. 1, 2. And now the reason they go over these is because in the video, the Bravo family, they do this. I really recommend if you go to the library and get the Bravo family, get those and watch them. They're really
How do you spell
good.
it?
Bravo, B-R-A-V-O, Bravo. Now, it's funny that the college doesn't like these anymore. They used them last year, but they don't like them.
They're too sweet.
And they make fun of
It's
them.
a husband
But
and
they're
wife
so
and kids.
sweet because it starts off,
You know,
the family's in the
no babies.
house, and you have a deaf son and a deaf father, and is the sister deaf?
They're all deaf, but the mother's
The
hearing.
mother's hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Mother's
so
hearing.
what's happening is they're interacting in the house, and they're waking the children up, they're having breakfast, and while they're doing this, you're learning the signs. Like they lose a remote, and they're looking for the remote, and they're looking under the couch, and they're looking, in the toilet, and everything. But the whole time they're doing this stuff, they're teaching you signs and stuff.
And they show you how they set the table.
Is it in the refrigerator? No, it's not in there, and they'll teach you that. And then you're seeing ASL structure because they use the grammar, the ASL grammar and stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not interpreting, because if I signed while I was talking to you, I'd probably sign every word. See? So I have to be careful.
Then you would criticize us.
Yeah. Let's see. Give. So give, remember we talked about give, but if I'm gonna give it to her, I'm gonna give it to you, or he gave it to me, that's.
Or you're gonna give to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Tell. Oh, here's a good one. I saw this one recently in the class I was taking this summer. Ask, the question ask, what you can do like this. That says ask her,
Ooh.
or
Good, I'll remember having Luke's home. Ask your wife.
her. I think that's pretty cool. So that's a good one there. Ask. Let's see. Waiter.
Waiter.
Waiter. Also, that's servant, right? Talk about servant. Gone.
Which way?
Gone.
Gone.
Gone. Like you're gone from leaving, or
Gone.
I think they were probably gone,
Or
like they were asking
missing.
for food. So it's probably like this.
Okay, it's gone.
Gone. The food's gone. I think if I remember from the video. Set a table. So, remember that one? Set a table?
Well, in Bravo, she shows the whole, exactly, she shows the whole thing. She says, the mother says, I took the plate. And she shows, she does the, they're about redundant, this is slow.
Yeah,
And she does
first
the
they go,
fork,
first they go like this for table.
she
and then
does
they
the
go-
whole way around the table.
You can do that too, you don't
And
have
that's
to
the
do
sign,
everything.
that's
So,
the sign.
Table.
Set the table. I forgot.
Like that, set the table.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the sign, set the
Okay.
table.
But you would say, probably say table first and then go.
Set, yeah.
Because if you went this way first, they'd be going, what in the world was that?
Okay.
Table.
Table.
But you really see the redundancy in this film because you're sitting there going, come on,
Yeah.
put out all the forks, and then she put out all the plates, and then
Yeah,
she
but it's
really
good,
goes
though.
over it
It's
slowly.
really good, especially when they go into the
But
grammar
that's what
things
the
later
deaf
on, they'll
talk.
ask you questions and stuff, and you watch them. They'll do it twice. And we watch them, and the girls learned a lot from that. That's where Jessie learned a lot of her sign language, and we know how they bragged that the girls can sign. They learned it from the Bravo family.
Is
So
it Bravo or
sign.
the?
Bravo.
Bravo,
B-R-A-V-O.
B-R-A-V-O, B-O,
Uh,
Bravo.
Bravo.
As a
Oh,
person
R-
on eBay, when I
B-O.
query under
There it is, right
Bravo,
There's what it
Bravo
looks like.
ASL.
And they have a
Here's
video that goes
Here's
with
the
it.
family right here, so it's really
And
kind
they're
of
really a
nice
cute little
family,
guy, and
little
they
boy,
play
little
tricks on their
girl,
parents, all in
mom,
sign
to
language.
mom hearing.
My son.
They go shopping and everything.
Yeah, but it goes with videos and a book. I will look for it on eBay.
Now, you're gonna, there's a whole set, it'll be way over $100 even on eBay.
Yeah, oh, they're $500.
That's worth it.
Because it's a
Yeah.
$500
Oh, it's worth it because
set.
the set's $500.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is on
I
eBay.
love
If I
that set.
saw them in the past, I wouldn't have known what they were to know that I should have gotten it.
eBay has
Oh.
all kind of sign language
I
stuff.
tell you,
Oh, yeah.
because
They
you
got
watch,
it in
several of
college.
our books.
you
right
watch
there.
these, and they're good too. They got a lot of good stuff in them,
What
but
are
they're
they?
very
Signing?
signing
Naturally.
naturally.
A
1 and 2,
manual.
and 1 and 2, and then this is
Isn't
the other part of
is he
2.
on with the Bravo family, or did we just learn him from signing naturally one?
That's about this.
He's very clear in signing
But these are
naturally one.
very boring. They're good, but they're boring. The Bravo family to me is entertaining.
You're watching a
Because
whole
you're-
family
yes.
move around. They go to the
Enjoy it,
store,
you know.
they buy apples and bananas,
Yeah.
and they talk to a hearing person who introduces all the family. So, and it's cute. They say, why are you signing? She said, because it's manners to sign in front of my deaf family.
Yeah, they teach you that stuff while they're
So
doing
they're
it and
teaching you
stuff.
culture at the
Because
same
people ask
time.
questions and stuff. It's nice. It's very nice, and I like those a lot. I was sad that they don't use it anymore at the Tarrant County College. They like the other ones. Well, they're satisfying and everything, but it's because they don't like the family. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is, yeah. They don't like that. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, do we have to watch
It's
that?
a
I don't
family.
want to watch the Bravo.
They're not divorced and they're not lesbians.
Yeah.
It's one man and one woman with 2 children.
They're not Christian, but they're,
No,
they're nice though. So let's see here, glass.
Oh, my turn and your turn.
Oh, yeah.
I
no,
didn't
that's
sign
what
that.
we do.
You ever see that?
My turn, your turn?
No. Your turn, my turn.
Okay.
So we learned that off that video. We didn't know that stuff.
Your turn.
My turn.
We used to say, your turn, my turn, it's your turn,
Turn.
my turn.
Turn. This.
I've seen you sign turn like this.
Yeah, turn.
That's turn.
Right.
Okay.
Never seen
Well,
it
that's.
before.
I
that's
learned
turn.
this watching
That's-
you.
Yeah, tools.
Tool.
And
Mechanic,
mechanic.
mechanic.
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I've wondered what the word was for tool.
Mechanic,
I
right.
tried to get your attention the other night because you spelled it, but
Yeah, oh, I'm,
because I caught it from him
Let's
a
go over
couple
some
weeks
sign,
ago.
I guess.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, because they use that
At least
a
those
lot.
kind of signs,
yes.
yeah, that's what we need.
you know, be a tool in God's
Here we found some
hands.
signs
Yes.
back here.
Okay,
Or
here's
be an
one.
instrument
What's this
in
one?
God's hands.
Almost. Oh. I didn't know you were gonna sign.
Almost,
Almost.
Yeah, but
almost.
almost.
Why
Almost.
up there?
Almost.
Almost.
Almost, you know, like you would think, and facial expression. And then,
Everybody knows that sign.
now you know that when you say son or daughter, you don't have to rock the baby. It's not appropriate to rock the baby.
Especially when they're 25.
Unless you're talking about a baby, right, unless you're talking about a baby, so.
I have this deaf son. He's 25.
Sleep or
Bed.
bed? This is
Bed.
bed.
This is
What's,
sleep.
This is
Will you
sleep.
stay back
What's
over
this?
there? Quit moving over here.
Him or me?
Motel.
That's
Yeah.
a motel,
Oh,
right?
he doesn't know how to stay
What?
still.
Oh.
He's ADHD.
A hotel, it could be a hotel, but also, isn't there a hotel like,
Hotel.
hotel,
The sign.
something like that?
The sign sticking out on the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hotel.
Okay, so what's this? Good morning. Okay, and then what's this? Breakfast.
That's the pure
Breakfast.
ASL sign for breakfast, but you can do that.
Yeah, breakfast, okay. What's this?
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth, okay.
That's the evening
Children.
sign.
Children.
And
Coffee.
Coffee.
the coffee for 12, that's
And then
Daughter,
Daughter.
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 of course, they probably do it like
They
this
do
or
it,
something.
and, yeah, and they'll do it to their wrist. They won't even go into the elbow.
Oh, really?
They'll do it right to their wrist and
This
you're going,
one.
Deaf.
Yes.
Okay.
Deaf for hearing impaired.
No, and I've seen some of our, some people doing this for deaf. Don't do that because that's dorm.
That's too close to this.
Oh,
Yes,
dorm.
home,
Yeah, because of home,
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
deaf.
Okay.
Yeah.
you know this sign? Yeah. This sign,
Oh,
Dog.
yeah.
but you don't have to do it down in the deaf, we're gonna do it up here in the air. And what's this sign?
Mine?
Puppy.
A puppy.
Isn't that the cutest sign?
What's that? Father, mother, and then grandfather or grandmother, or like this. Can be, you know, and usually when we're talking about a heavenly Father, it's usually two of them. Because of emphasis, because of who he is and everything. Heavenly Father. Okay. What's this?
Rest.
Yeah.
No.
Fool.
Fool you.
Girls are telling the answer.
Fool you. Fool you.
Oh, good.
Okay, I wouldn't have.
Fool you. Fool me.
Ah.
Fool me.
The deaf use that sign a lot, Pat, 'cause they love to play their tricks.
Yeah, they do.
Get dressed.
Get dressed.
Get dressed.
You'll learn that. These are from that film, so.
Go.
Yeah,
Go.
And
Some people say go. That's not common. I don't see that as much anymore though. We used to use that, go like that, or come,
no,
but it's more
Go.
go or
Or
come,
come.
you know.
Go.
Yeah. Or come. You can do that. Yeah.
yeah, that's a natural.
Good. Good. That's good. And then Mrs. Thank you.
And what's the sign for
This
hearing?
is also welcome too sometimes.
If you just look one
You're
ear.
welcome.
Oh, one?
Instead of this?
Just the words. come
Instead of
out
that,
your
but
mouth.
it can be this way. It can be welcome like that.
But you can do it.
It seems kind of redundant when you
It
say
does
thank
do
you and they
thank
say
you,
that,
and
but
you
it's
go,
welcome.
you're welcome.
I know, I don't like that. I like to say you're welcome.
What's this?
Hearing?
Hearing.
Hearing or
Hearing.
speak. It could be speak, but a hearing, yeah.
Well, that's why it's the same sign. Hungry.
That's, okay, and then
Okay, now here's one.
Cook?
And kitchen.
kitchen.
But they also sign it with two Ks.
Yeah, but
If they're
I would
educated,
try
if you're
to-
trying to learn your,
Try to get away from
you're
that.
trying to learn your
Yeah,
ASL
but-
signs here,
But they
so.
do.
Do they
Yeah,
use
I
it
do.
here?
I've seen them.
I know in Texas.
Depends where
do,
they are.
because in Texas, even though they don't like if you talk to some of these skilled interpreters from the colleges and stuff, they say ASL, but in Texas, I've noticed in the schools, they use a lot of pidgin English. And it's not, I wouldn't call it signing exact English. Because signing exact English is totally different than they don't even use ASL words, a lot of them. Like, I used to do the Pledge of Allegiance as an example for,
Would you do it?
I'm gonna say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
Whoa.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, or for all. Okay? And you notice
Oh, yeah,
now,
I remember seeing that.
there are certain things, you say, well, you signed every word. There are certain things called frozen text. Frozen text in the Pledge of Allegiance, you would sign every word, because it's a frozen text.
And when the pastor reads a verse out of the Bible,
Oh, yeah.
you sign every word.
Okay, I
I don't always
need
do
to
that because I
promise,
can't
I
keep it
pledge
confused so
allegiance.
fast.
I need to get that.
I pledge allegiance, okay.
I need to get what you're signing there. I kinda got it. This was pledge,
Pledge,
it's like
promise,
Do it one more time, but do it over here,
Pledge.
so Patty's not in the way.
pledge, and
allegiance,
then
allegiance,
allegiance,
yeah,
allegiance,
allegiance like that, allegiance,
allegiance, okay,
to the
to
flag
the flag.
of, it's OF, of
Of
United States of America and to the republic
Just like nation with an R.
for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Can't break it.
indivisible, or break
You
it,
can't break it.
with liberty and justice for all. And now, when I think about it, though, I wonder if we really would use which, even though it's working like so.
Well, I don't know.
And I was wondering about stand. Wouldn't it be represent
Or it
instead
stands
of
for
stand?
represent, you're right, it might be. I'm gonna have to find that.
Or
I've
We
never
signed it,
actually
Luke was
seen
in
that.
that. We signed it.
That's why, but I used to have an example of it in signed English and with the, using the ASL words. So I use the ASL words, a lot of it, except for to and all that. But there are signed words that are equivalent to some of that. Or English words, I
I
mean,
just,
signed English
well,
words.
because in a political arena, you're pledging allegiance all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Anytime you get in a political
You
gathering.
work with the
Yeah.
Republican Party?
Her husband's a tax collector for the city, for the county of Denton.
Oh, Denton, that's where your brother lives.
We need to find, I'm gonna see if I can get that. I'm gonna see, maybe look it up
I
on
bet
the,
you
on
could
the
get it
internet.
on the internet.
He saw something, you can look it up.
Yeah, Mike, that's a good job, learn it this week.
We did it at the
Yeah,
races
learn it
last year,
and
but
teach it to us next week.
Yeah.
What's
That'd be
that?
great.
Pledge
allegiance.
Well, I can get it off the video right here. I was just thinking about making a CD for.
No,
No,
go
I
on the
mean,
internet
on the internet.
and
We
see
wanna see
how
if
they
there's a
sign it.
different-
Oh, you don't feel like yours is all?
No, I don't know if mine's right.
Oh, okay.
That's the way we always sign it with Luke, but then I think about it,
That's
it's
when
like,
we were
well,
signing all the
which,
words.
that's not right, because that's a question, and that's not a question for which it stands. And stands is, like you said, that's little.
But it is a
It's
frozen
not,
text.
but
so-
still, that's,
for which
yeah,
it
Yeah.
stands.
It
I don't
doesn't
know.
stand.
because it doesn't
For which
really
it
stand.
Right,
Means,
it
means.
represents.
It means, yeah.
It's close enough, then just think you're moving it.
Yeah, that's it, I didn't move my means there, that's it.
We'll ask Maria when she comes home. Our daughter-in-law, she teaches in a deaf school.
I was
We
gonna
could ask
say,
Marcus.
ask Marcus
We'll ask
will
Marcus
know.
tomorrow.
Surely they do the pledge.
Okay, we'll ask her.
Okay, let's see. This is love, okay. Then this is mom, right? Morning. And this is no. Past,
Asked them before.
scared. And another thing with that past thing is, the death say yesterday, and they don't mean, a lot of times they don't mean that it happened yesterday.
I mean, sometimes in the
It
past.
means, yeah, that it happened before sometimes. Sometimes they do that, you know.
And that reminds me of a sign
like hearing-
daily.
Some preachers do
Every
that too.
day, every day, every day. It's the tomorrow sign, but they don't do it like that, they do it like this.
Every day, yeah.
Oh,
They
really?
changed
Like,
it.
almost like a mother.
Right, it's like a
sign.
girl sign, but it
It's
means
like
every
that.
day.
Yes,
And you don't even
okay.
have to say day.
Right,
That means
daily.
every
Every
day.
day,
today.
every day.
Right,
Daily.
daily.
Or it could be daily, that could be daily. too.
Daily, every day, it's the
Daily.
same sign.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, scared.
And don't forget your facial expression.
Hopefully you're not smiling, right?
School.
Oh,
And you know why that is, don't you?
yes.
That's what she says. Pay attention.
That's
how
it.
they used to call their kids to school. Like that. So it's the school. And now, see, that's where that becomes tricky because there's also paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paper. like
Paper
this.
comes this way.
Schools like this. Shower. They show this guy's facing it. Shower. And the deaf do that too. Have you ever seen a person that's deaf and they talk and they make sound effects?
Whatever
And
they
you're going,
feel, they feel
I
that in
wonder
their
how they
body.
know that. But they, or cars. Luke used to make car noises and stuff like that.
It's
We
built
play.
in.
It seems like it.
It's a male thing,
The
isn't it?
sun.
Um,
Okay, and what's this?
Spider.
Spider. Right.
How are they doing it on there?
Good.
Thank you.
Time.
Toilet. Yeah, toilet. We used to tell Luke, we wouldn't let him say toilet. See, we were so out of deaf culture. We used to
You
say,
say
can I say restroom?
Well, that's what
May I please go to the restroom? You will not say. Let the deaf do that. They just go like that, you know.
Jim, first, we went to a deaf conference one time, and he didn't know, somebody asked him where he was from. And he said, Texas, and they pointed.
I was like, when I was
No,
in
it must be a
Spain,
big T, you know?
I was in Spain, and a friend of mine was trying to tell the waitress that he was in the service, you know, the military, for 4 years. But he said servicio, and in Spain it meant toilet. So he's saying, I'm in the toilet for 4 years. And she's like, wow.
You must have a potty mouth.
Really? What's this?
Surprise.
Or, yeah, a surprise,
Or
or
wake up.
Wake up.
wake up. Yeah. And then
Want.
want. You could think,
Don't want.
I don't want. Or you could, how's that thing with the, you could turn it out too. You showed me one time. But anyway, you negate that, you can negate that one.
Hang with the
No, I
deaf
don't
people,
want that.
you'll learn it.
Where?
What?
What?
Which?
And,
Yeah.
okay. We did this one earlier. And then the book shows this, for, what's that?
Cereal.
Cereal.
And
Okay,
now,
so what's this?
Yeah, what's this?
What's happening?
What's happening? What's
What are you
up?
doing?
What's happening?
Que
Walk in on a
pasa?
party.
Que, what you mean you pasa? Que pasa? What's happening?
Now, somebody might be old enough to get that in here, but.
Okay, what you call your pasta? You remember that? We were watching the Flip Wilson show.
It's
It was
the old
Flip
one.
Wilson, and the hippy dippy weatherman. Okay, what you call your pasta? Eat. And then egg, fork.
Who knows the sign for potato? And who knows the sign for Ireland?
Ireland.
And you should know, you're redheaded.
Glass. And then we have the give, and you give her, give to you, or both hands is fine. And then gone. Gone, or gone.
You can say gone like that.
Too close to hand.
If it's
I like this
gone.
one here, ugly, you know, this is a sign for ugly. It's funny when we teach sign language, a lot of times the kids will pick up the bad signs.
Mhm, always.
Yeah, they always learn new signs. But here is really ugly. You can use all fingers, and that means really ugly, you know? And you might do that if the pastor's talking about some story like that, where he's talking about somebody being really ugly. Really ugly. Let's see. Okay.
Name?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is it.
Shame on you.
Oh, I thought it
Nice.
was just one.
Oh, no.
Knife. It shows here.
Maybe that's sharp.
It shows two of them
Okay.
for knife. I guess you could use one. It's fine, but it shows two in the book. Knife, and then this is another one that's directional.
Help.
I'm saying, help me,
Help you.
or
Help her, okay.
So you could do that as another directional sign.
Milk.
Milk.
Okay. And then
Turn.
Turn.
It's your turn. It's my turn.
Turn.
Yeah. This one is really weird to me. This is napkin.
Well, you do
I've
like
always
to
go
wipe
like this, you know, for napkin and stuff, but the deaf do this napkin. To me, I'm like, what is that? I don't know why. That
Who
one
knows
throws
what
me
this
off.
sign is?
Boring.
Bored to death.
Yeah. What's this? One.
You got one guy in the back who doesn't know all this stuff. You tell him all the jokes.
Orange. Oh, actually, I always go JC, but it's not. It's just orange juice. And then plate. Okay.
Make a circle. Set the table.
Set
Table. And this. I'm sorry. This is it right here. What's this?
Soup.
Spoon.
Spoon. That does look
this,
like
but this
spoon.
is spoon.
You did a good drawing. This looks like that guy.
Towel. Toast. Waiter. Wash. Now, See, here's another one. If you're washing the plate, then that's what you're doing, you're washing the plate. If you're washing the wall, then you're washing the wall.
Yeah, and you're
If
doing
you're
toast
washing,
wrong.
you're taking a bath, then then that's what you do, you take a bath.
Excuse me, but toast is this way.
Oh, sorry, toast, I did that wrong. Toast.
Jesse caught it.
Thank you, Jesse. That's right, that's what it says here too. What was I doing?
Jesse,
I don't know.
surprised.
You had it down
Hand
here.
Upside down.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right. I've been doing a lot of that lately, thank you.
Too much
Waiter,
stress.
okay, wash, okay, we got wash, work. Squashing worms. That's what who told us that? That was you used to say that, I think.
It was a friend of mine in
Squashing
Pennsylvania.
worms. Work. What that means, I don't know. Yeah, yesterday.
Is that like that or with a Y?
Hey,
It just shows it with this.
With an A? Okay.
Yesterday. Doesn't know why. Yesterday. It has no why.
What?
Yesterday.
I gotta learn that now, see? I learned it wrong.
But I don't think the def was anything.
They're not gonna yell at you if you're talking to them and you signed that yesterday.
But if you
Wrong.
if you see this though, you better know what it is.
Yeah.
We used to teach some of the kids
Every
that
day.
say girl. For some reason, they'd always get it like this. I'm like, no, you don't do that. Slash their neck, you know. No, it's like this, okay? Let's see. We said bath, bed, room,
Behind.
behind, right? Or backslide,
I was gonna say.
backslide.
Can
What
you
was
do
the
that in
thing they
church?
taught me recently?
Ignore.
Ignore?
What's his
No,
name?
what was that? It wasn't
No,
ignore, it
this
was
is ignore.
something
Oh,
else.
that's right.
No.
It's not ignore?
Well, he did teach you to sign for ignore. Was that it?
I don't think
Ignore
that's what
is
it
the
was.
word that he was
I
teaching
don't think that's
you,
what
but
that
I
means.
forget how he said
Yeah,
to
but he
sign.
taught me a lot of signs. I don't know if that's what it was.
Ignore.
Ignore.
What's the sign for ignore do?
Ignore. I sounded like this. I don't know if that's
See,
right.
that's where I learned
But to
it.
get away from that, I sometimes go.
I was afraid that's where you
No,
learned
that
it.
won't work either though.
Yeah.
I think I do that.
I
did
think
that.
that's
Ignore.
the sign. I think that's the
See,
word.
I know
You
that.
can just go. Yeah, that's what I
Well,
do.
that's.
I just push it off. Well, I gotta sign ignore.
yeah, this has the look
Oh,
of
I remember the
turning
sign
away
for
from-
ignore. This is the
It's
sign
almost
for
like
ignore.
from, turning away.
Yeah, turning away. I think it is. I think it's
It
going
is ignore.
astray or something. I can't remember. He showed it to me, and that was in the middle of that other one where he was showing me survey, which was like, I don't know. That's
Survey was putting all
yeah,
the.
survey, and I was like, every
He was
time I
so
come to it, I
lost.
was like, what was that again? Oh yeah, which is good because then they wake up again. And they say, let's see here, chair, right, couch.
And here's the swing. In case you don't know that sign.
Dresser.
Now, the dresser, the dresser.
Oh,
Dresser,
hold on.
drawers. And that, they just show it like this.
Yeah, but
Dresser.
you can't go by that thing. I mean, a flat page.
Lights.
And
Flashing
what's it?
lights.
Flashlight.
Like a TTY, a flashing light.
In.
In,
Okay.
Address. No, wait.
Where you live.
house,
Well, living room.
Living
You
room.
were close.
Room.
And they don't do,
That was good.
you know, like that, living room. Okay.
But that does not mean turn the light on. That means put something on
On.
something.
Or
We'll
take
turn
it
the
off.
light on, we'll turn the light off. Turn the light on, turn the light off.
Yeah. Now, you'll probably catch yourself, because that word on is used in sentences sometimes.
Yeah, and on is a physically
Put it on.
on.
What's this? What?
under,
Under. No,
Yep.
no,
No, but
Is it,
this is the way I learned
is
it.
it oven?
Oven with an O, but, what, is that
Close
an
the
oven?
Something in
No,
the
they put
oven
it in the
or-
oven.
Oven.
Uh,
Refrigerator.
Refrigerator. I like that sign. I always go to refrigerator.